Alright then, hello everyone. Let me get this. Oh, the screens are switched. Wait, how did that happen? And why is my Discord open? That is so unprofessional. Why is my camera not here? Wow, everything is just broken today. Have I accidentally unplugged my webcam? Is that what's happening? Let me see real quick. I'm so sorry. Hello? Yeah, alright. That's weird. I don't know why that wasn't working. Now, let's swap these around. I don't know why they got swapped. There we go. Alright. It has been fixed. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Here we are. Okay. Let's just wait for people to come in. Now that we fixed all of the problems. I do have my window open at the moment. I hope there's not too much noise outside. But I am very hot. I don't know if you can tell. I am sweating. I have been doing some packing. As you can see, my usual background of random posters and games is empty because I am moving. So I am being sweaty because I have been packing and moving things around. I just tried to dive into my console cabinet, my video game consoles, and the cable management, which is non-existent, was a pain to get through. So yeah. Anyway, let's just get started with what we have on screen right now. Just quickly want to double check. Yep, okay, my microphone does work. With all the things that weren't working, I thought it would be a good idea to check that. So over here we have what we kind of worked on last stream. We have the Australia area of this Waters of the World building. And I finished the signs that we started to work on. So down here, of course, we have the beautiful lyrics to our Please Don't Sue Us version of the Phineas and Ferb Perry the Platypus theme song. They're a semi-aquatic, egg-laying mammal down under. Hey, Lofro! Yeah, Ferdo, this is kind of who makes burrs on the ground instead of who never flinch from the fray. It's so stupid, but it works, and I have added all of these signs down here to it, which explain each of the parts of the song. So we've got semi-aquatic. Platypuses are semi-aquatic. This means that they live both in the water and on land. They live in small streams and rivers. They are excellent swimmers and spend much of their time in the water foraging for food. They can stay underwater for up to 40 seconds before they need to come up for air. I might actually have to rephrase that because it's actually kind of 30 seconds and 40 is kind of the maximum. It's kind of their lung capacity basically. When out of the water, the platypus stays near the riverbank, hiding in on the protective roots in a resting burrow. So yeah, similar things like egg laying, about the eggs, about them being one of the only egg-laying mammals living in Australia. They have waterproof fur, which glows on the UV light, which is really cool. And also, they were often hunted for their fur. This was pretty cool. That I didn't notice. The swimming style of the platypus is unique among mammals, using its front feet in a rowing motion to propel itself, and using its hind feet along with its tail for steering. So that's actually really cool, and that's actually something you can see them doing in the game as well when they swim, which I think Frontier did an excellent job actually getting that all in. What I didn't know is that they have both resting and nesting burrows, and that nesting burrows can actually be up to 20 meters long. That I thought that was really cool. Most of this information is just straight out of off of Wikipedia, by the way. But yeah, also what I thought was really cool is that the beaver tail is actually used to store fatty tissue, similar to the humps of a camel. And this is why they were often hunted by the Aboriginal Australians, because those tails were very nutritious. And over here about the bill, which is mainly about the electroreceptor ability of the bill. It's like covered in these little electroreceptors, which is depicted here in purple. And that's how they detect electrical currents. He was using them to hunt. And of course, hear them call. So, do I have... I don't. Wait, let me see if I can quickly get you guys to hear this, because this is awesome. Let's quickly do that, and then open the zoo. And I'll pause the music real quick. Wait, let me just move this over. So I had a message. Oh, right. I started... Right, wait, this is actually kind of important. Let me just quickly finish typing this. It should be good. Sorry about that. Yeah, let me quickly put the audio. Every time I read stuff about Platypus, I get extra surprised again. Yeah, it's crazy. They are just literally every animal. 150 might be a bit much. Let's put it at 100. I paused the music. Alright, listen to this. Let me get some kids. We need kids. Where are the kids? Yes, we have kids. Okay. Come here, children. I have a funny thing for you. Alright. Listen to this. No, don't ignore it. Alright, we'll just have to wait. Wait for them to do it. Oh, there they go. Yes! It is so cool. Super cool. I love this item. So this is of course the education soundboard. And that's what's making that possible. Anyway. Let's get to work. I'm going to show you guys some more stuff, and then we're going to do some stuff. So, I'm going to put the audio back, and I'm going to turn the music back on. So, let's put the audio at, what was it at? Like, I think it was at 30, but it was a bit soft. So over here, we got the room that we ended the stream in, and the Amazon River room, where we were making this green anaconda exhibit, which I finished up. Pretty happy with how that looked. Hey Forge, how are you? So yeah, looking pretty good. It's a start. It's nowhere near done, but anyway, then I started to think about the fact, like, okay, the plan for this building was to have something else on top of it. Now I started to kind of wonder how that was going to work out, because all of these tanks need some kind of backstage access. So they need space from the top where the keepers can reach in and, you know, take care of the fishes, clean the windows, all that sort of stuff. So I started to kind of put backstage on top of all of these tanks, and you're kind of left with very limited space to actually put stuff, especially exhibits, which also need their own backstage, and so on and so on. Then there were some other issues with the layout that I wasn't happy with. In particular, the entrance to the platypus area. Of course, the idea of this aquarium was to have multiple entrances so that from multiple areas of the world in the zoo you could get to the same areas of the world in the aquarium. But at the same time, I wanted the aquarium to kind of start over here, go in a loop, and end over here. The way I made the platypus area, though, oh god, there's so many guests here, let me actually get rid of those. The way I made the platypus area kind of invites people to go into the wrong direction of the aquarium, right? Because you enter from what's going to be the Australia area, you come into here, you are sent like to the platypus, you walk down here, you check out the platypus, and then you keep walking. You go through the Great Barrier Reef from here. Well, I intend people to go the other way. So I wasn't really happy with that either. Then the last problem that I saw was that we had the mangrove in the middle over here, which the room in there would be lit up. Whereas the Great Barrier Reef room and the platypus room, especially the platypus room, needs to be dark because it's kind of a night house, right? Same thing goes for some of these other areas. Over here I was planning an ocean section, which need to be dark again, while the Amazon section need to be light. So you went from light to dark to light to dark. And I thought that was not the best way to do things. It would be best to have one dark area and then another light area again. So that was another thing I wasn't happy with. So we are gonna quickly load into my current thing, where I have done a redesign of the place, and I'm really happy with what this is like so far. So let's have a look at that. Also in the meantime, one of the things I decided, if you are on... Oh, actually, in the meantime we can look at this. So these are all of the platypus signs that I made. And yeah, that's pretty cool. There we go, we're already loaded in. And so, let's see. So what I did is I moved the mangrove already out of the middle. The middle part is now the ocean. Because it's big. I made it even bigger than I initially intended. I initially just intended a couple of smaller ocean fish and like some jellyfish. But now I have done a big tank, as you can see. We'll look at that in a second. And I'm still working out what's gonna happen after the tank. But what I had in mind for the moment was, you enter here, you have a very small European area, because you are coming out of the European area of the zoo. Then you're gonna have a big mangrove tank over here, which will lead you into the Asian area over here, where you have a view into the other exhibit, which is on the outside. And you're gonna have some Asian fresh fish, some Asian saltwater fish, and then you're greeted by the ocean already. So there's some pros and cons to this. The con is that I really like the fact that the mangrove was in the middle and neighboring the Asia, Australia and South America area, because all of those three continents are continents that have mangroves in them. But I think it does provide for a better experience overall. Yeah, so that is that. Now the only thing is that I'm struggling with is this big tank, which I'm really happy with and I want to keep, but I'm not sure what to do after it, because of course we first had like the reefs over here. You can see where that was over here, but if we do that the same we did it last time, we get the same issue with the Australia area, leading people in the wrong way around. Now, we could solve that by flipping the direction, like making this the entrance, but then the South America area is kind of in the middle of nowhere now. And so what I'm actually kind of thinking of doing is making the route start over here. So you're going to come out of the Africa area into the waters of the world. First you're going to get the African section, then you're going to get the European section, question mark. Maybe we'll keep the European entrance as well, and then that will just... No, that's confusing as well. That's stupid. Whatever, we'll see what we do. Either of these entrances, maybe you'll go from Europe to Africa, and then the mangroves. I don't like going from Africa to the mangroves, is my issue right now. But we'll see. Maybe we'll move the mangroves somehow. I don't think I will. But it's probably fine. We can go from Africa to the mangroves. Just be very clear about there being no mangroves in Africa. At least I'm pretty sure there aren't. But yeah, we'll come in from the Africa area. We'll go through what we have. Then we'll get the reef section like around here. And then we come up into the Amazon. And then you can go to the Australia area, circle around, and leave into the Australia area. There's mangroves in East Africa. Well, problem solved. Thank you. I thought I read that there's mangroves only in those 3 continents, but no, then that problem solved. Yeah. All right. In that case, then that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, I will. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the European area of it all then, because I would like to enter from the Africa area into here, and then we could make it maybe so that you already see the mangroves, and then you get a little sidetrack to Europe, and then you can go back to the mangroves. Something like that. I'll figure out that part later. Hippos are... I can totally put those on a sign though. That's really cool. Alright, so let's look at some magic. I'll ping Coda. Because he was curious about how I did this, so I'm gonna show it right now. Alright, so over here we have this glass bubble, and we're actually gonna make that functional. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this, take a pane, and we're gonna go all the way around the borders of this tank, which I put a shark in here. I kind of want to have reef shark in here, but I don't know if this tank is too small for reef shark. So if anyone watching knows, because I couldn't really find exact like requirements or recommended sizes of tanks for sharks, because a lot of basically all I could find was like people who keep fish on their own saying you shouldn't try to keep sharks. You need way too much space for that as a hobbyist. But I'm like, no, I'm a zoo. You don't understand. So yeah, of course if we do this, we are greeted by a wall of water over here. Even if we remove the barrier, you can see that there's water here, And if you go inside, we get that underwater effect, which we don't want. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to take a terrain stamp like this. I'm going to take a sphere. We're going to stamp just basically outside of that thing that we made. Needs to be a little larger to give the water some room, basically. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do another one over here. And you know what? I'll take a cylinder. Take a cylinder like this, and kind of put that over here as well. And then I'll flatten this part out a bit because I don't want that wall of water that we had. So yeah, we'll basically do this. Now we're gonna put the water in. Do I want it this high? No, I want it one lower. There we go. And now, for the magic part, I'm gonna go over here. And we're gonna go flatten terrain. And we're just gonna add and remove some paths. Like so. That is pretty much what we want. I think I want it... Yeah, I want it to be lower than this. So I'm actually gonna try to get it a bit lower by doing some tunneling instead. I don't want a path that big. Actually, yeah, a 1 meter path might be perfect for some simple, maybe a 2 meter path. You can see we are tunneling. Yeah, there we go. Alright, it was just being a bit finicky. Let's flatten terrain again. Yes, that's what I want. That's what we want. Can we go a little lower still? I don't think so, right? Maybe ever so slightly. Wait, flatten to foundation, that doesn't work. No, needs to be a path. I kind of want it a little... Oh, look at that. That is a bummer. We messed it up a little bit. There's just a slight bit of... Actually? Yeah, no. Over there. Here's a slight bit of leakage, basically. Don't know how else to call it. But yeah, the basic idea is there though. Now you can take out the barrier because of free build, and you can see the water stops over there about, and we can be inside of this bubble mostly. Yeah, I need to make the, I should have made the circles a little bigger. So let's actually undo most of that. There we go. And let's put our water like this. Or yeah, over here you can see why it was doing what it was. So we're just gonna make our circle slightly bigger. Especially on this side as well. Oh, that was too high up. There we go. Oh, That was too high up again. Let's see what happens if I tunnel like this. Oh, that's way better. Because I can do something like this. Yeah, that's what I want. That was barely a sentence, but there we go. This is exactly what I want. So it's gonna be a little finicky to like do all of the pathing, like connecting this area up to this area. I actually think one thing you can do is if we can manage to connect up those two. The only problem is you can't because free build. Yeah, these pairs aren't gonna connect up. Oh, what? They are. Wait, what have I... Yeah, see, that makes a nice slope. Oh. And now we have a nice slope path going down. And we're inside of our tunnel. No water effect. Not even coming up to it. But there is water inside everywhere. This is outdated. Looks like we got a bit of terrain to clean up still, but yeah. Alright, there's a couple of spots. So yeah, it's definitely very finicky and hard to get right, but this is super cool. Ooh, that's probably a nice paper. Alright. So yeah, that is how that works. So it's pretty easy to get done. And I think I can basically get it about exactly how I want it. Whenever, like for everything that we do. Oh, this can go. That's also outdated. Hello. So what we can do is kind of just build around this, and yeah, we can put that water back in whenever, basically. So yeah, that's that. Like, the perfectionist in me wants to fix this little thing right now, but there's no point to doing that. Come on, game. I couldn't go up and down. So yeah, there's no point in doing that right away. So let's just undo this. And we can't go back any further. Actually, I think it might be better to just redo everything and just take the water out. There we go. And let's get rid of this as well for now. And let's turn off flattened terrain as well. So that is the idea for the shark tank. So something I found online was like 30 to 40 feet in diameter, and you need a circle. So this is a 40 feet measure thing, and as you can see, we're a little bit larger than that. Of course, a lot of space does get taken in by the guest path, but I think it's a decent tank. Maybe not for black-tip reef shark. Maybe for something smaller than that. But I think we're okay-ish. Probably need to ask like Coda or Croco. They know that stuff a little better. But yeah, let's have a look at the rest of this. So I want to move this like so and get the guests into here. And then we're gonna have, I want to do one more thing for the ocean, which is the jellyfish. And after that we will get people, after that we will go into the reef section. And then up to the, this is no longer a thing. To the Amazon River. Is it weird to go from reef to Amazon River? Should there be something in between that? I'm not sure. Oh, Coda couldn't join. Alright, so I'm gonna take a nice bit of plaster. And we're going to take the circle one, and that's going to be our jellyfish tank indicator. So I'm going to put that, I think, just over here actually. So you're going to come out of the deep sea and see some jellyfish. I think I'm going to level that with this, so that will be, the path will go down a bit. Yeah, that's one of the main things I did, by the way. I haven't even talked about that. I moved everything way down, like 1 or 2 meters at least, so that we are going to be able to have a flat top. I've also worked out how some of these backstages are going to work, so these smaller tanks are going to be able to access from up here, where you can look down into the tank, so you don't have to actually be like oops. You don't actually have to be above the tank, but you can like lean forward into it, and that puts the roof at a decent height to be able to do something with the top of it. The only thing that is now going to be a potential issue really is this tank, which of course I lowered everything down and then I made a tank that is way higher than the rest. So that does need to have a kind of building on top, but I don't think that's a huge issue. So yeah, this is kind of the roof. You can see these stick out a very little bit, but that's fine. We can do something with the top of them still. But this is going to be an actual like building. Yeah, I made the tank a little bigger, so I need to make the building a bit bigger as well. But yeah, that is going to be like a building on top of here, which will be integrated into the area somehow. I'm not sure what's going to be up here, because we are going to change the layout of the rest of the zoo. And now that I'm changing how this is going to work, what I actually think I might do is I might move this over here. So you're gonna have the Africa loop, you're gonna go up here, gonna have some Africa stuff up here, then go down, and I'm not sure yet. I'm struggling a little bit. I think you might go down here. So you go up here, you're gonna have some stuff, you're gonna go down, and then you have the waters of the world. And then you're gonna go up, and you're gonna go down here, and you're gonna have some more stuff. Maybe, something like that. I don't know, we'll see. I think there is options. And, oh yeah, I might also have to show I put something over here, as you can probably see. It's gonna be the Small Cat Canyon. It's a random idea I had that I want to do something with. But it's like a canyon with a bunch of small cat exhibits. No idea what we're what's gonna become of that idea. I've got a couple of cool concepts for it, but we'll see. So let's see. We've got ourselves our big tank. Then we got ourselves a little jellyfish tank over here, and we can put something else, like on this side. We could also put something here that's like an Australian tank. But I don't know. I don't know enough about fish to be like, yes, we can put this fish in there for our Australia area. So I think I'm gonna put nothing there, because it's just gonna be the thing that is like platypus this way. I'm definitely gonna change how this. We might change a lot about the South America area, actually. I think I'm gonna redo all of that as well. I mean, redo all of it. Oh no. There's so much work done here that we're gonna have to redo. Yeah. I think I'm gonna move that. We could actually... We could swap that around with the mangroves, maybe. Would that be an improvement? I don't know. I do think I want to move the Europe area to elsewhere. This is a Finky stream. I feel like I had the same thing last stream. Oh well. So yeah. Anyway, the jellyfish have a backstage. Like, this is the... this is my second tank for the platypus to make them able to deep dive, but in our imagination it's just a backstage area. So that will be the backstage for the jellyfish. I don't have to worry about that much. I think we do want to go straight to the coral reefs. Starting with... yeah. So we're gonna come out here. There's gonna be a... yeah, I guess that backstage door can be just over there. And accessed from the Australia area, basically. So you come through here, jellyfish, cool, coral reefs. We'll delete these. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna start off by just deleting some stuff over here, so that we have a blank slate to work with, and we're not... Right now I'm thinking too hard about how to make it fit in between these walls, but we're actually gonna move these walls, so... why do that? Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of all of this. Am I? That's not something that can be moved all that easily, actually. Well, actually, it's not that bad. I can redo the fence. I want to keep the colors of this. So I'm just gonna move that over here. So, do we keep... I think I'm just gonna move all of this stuff, like, out somewhere. Why is this grouped up with a random log? I actually want to group that up with this. And I'm gonna take... let's group these two up as well. And I'm just gonna take all of this and move it up out of there. Let's see, what are we missing? What is missing in our group? Where is whatever is making this particle right now? Ah, there they are. There we go. Group that up with this. Move it out of the way again. Got this. Oh, there's multiple of them. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, and let's take these as well. Oh crap! Actually, I don't want to group you up. Now we don't have our anaconda anymore. What? How did you get unselected? There we go. Alright. So let's move that all the way up as well. Do want to keep these because that will be our species potentially. Oh, right. Come on. I don't care. I don't know if I can do an electric eel. I watched a video on those today. They're super cool. They're pretty big. That's another thing. Like, I have no idea, like, what kind of space requirements aquariums have. Alright. Let's say that we have, what is this? This was for my coral reef tank. Alright, so let's think about this for a moment. We have a walking route going from somewhere over here throughout the thing, and I want it to end over here, so this arrow should actually be pointing the other way. But at the same time, it's going to be an Australia area over here, and people in that Australia area that haven't gone through the waters of the world because they haven't followed the main walking route of the zoo, which is fine, gotta account for that. They're gonna come in here, and we want them to go to the Platypus and go back out instead of taking the building the wrong way around. So how do we accomplish this? I say we should have the aquarium route end up over here without going through the platypus. So this will be the end of the aquarium, and then over here you'll be able to go in and out of the platypus habitat, which needs to account for a lot of people because that would be a popular species. And yeah, it should be obvious that it's not intended to be entered from this side, basically. So I think that should be doable, because that's what I've been doing throughout the previous layout as well, like making little nooks and crannies that are like inviting to go through from one side but kind of blocking your view from another side, basically. So let's think about that. Now that we have all of this space, we want this, and another important thing is that this needs to be dark again. That's the one thing that I haven't been able to preserve with this new design, is that you are going to come out of the barrier reef into light, and then for the platypus you will go dark again. But the platypus is kind of separate from the rest of the building now, which I think isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it also needs to be part of the Australia area. So let's take some walls and let's imagine how this will work. So I'm gonna have a pretty big gate for it. And I think what I want to do is maybe I want to lower this down actually and make the entire viewing area at this level. But I do like the stepping down part of it, so I think I'm going to keep that. Of course there is going to be a ramp on the other side. We already had that previously. I think I actually should just keep what it was. Yeah, I kind of wish I still had my old floor, because now that we've diverted the route of the aquarium, that is actually fine. So, I'm gonna get plaster instead to do this stuff, because I should have been using plaster from the start, honestly. It's way easier to work with for this layout stuff. Because that's why I was the concrete was just temporary stuff for the layout anyway. Once we've got the layout all figured out, then I'm gonna go in and do detailing like I did with the Amazon stuff. Or is it? Where's my Amazon stuff? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So once all the layout is done, then we're gonna like decide upon the style of each area and do something like that. So yeah. I think we can have a wall going kind of like this. A little curved. Actually, now that I think of it, that loses... No, wait, we can do that later. So yeah, I'm gonna go on a holiday next week. I'm looking pretty forward to that. Just gonna be away for a little while. And when I return, I'm gonna be moving. And in the meantime, doing a bunch of other stuff. So I'm not gonna be very active for a little while. Definitely no streams at least. But I do have a couple of videos all lined up and ready to be released for you guys, so you don't have to be basically every Saturday for the next 3 weeks. I have a video already scheduled. Every Saturday, 6 PM, basically the way they have already been releasing the past few times. Well, actually, the best zoo tour released at 5. All right, so something like this, and then we'll move the. Oh God. There we go. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this one, to be honest. Kind of want to use lion's sign instead, I think. But let's just pretend. Yep. This is it. Alright. Probably gonna do something else with this wall. Maybe I'll even start the backstage over there. So we can do something cool with this curved wall, because I think it is very inviting to put something into. Hey, the gaming giraffe, welcome. Alright, so let's see if we put a curved fence in here. I think that'll be really neat. Oh boy. All right. So we can actually put another like little tank here. I'll look up if there's some cool like Australia fish that we could put in there. And then we'll just go like this. And there we go. All right. So I'm probably not going to make it this tall, because that would require basically if you make it that tall, then the water's going to be real tall as well. I'm planning on doing a small Dutch zoo like Best Zoo in Zizo, with the old area, but I need a name. Oh, I'm the worst at naming things. There's a reason that this zoo is still nameless to this day. I need a name for it so I can start, you know, naming these streams something. But I am just so bad at naming my zoos. That's one of the big benefits of doing a recreation zoo as well. You don't have to name it. Just copy the name. Where is this zoo? The ID is... I took a screenshot of Eindhoven, which is a city I live. Well, not for long, but yeah. So this is basically the neighborhood, relatively near me, like within cycling distance at least, which would be realistically would be the worst place to start a zoo, because there's already like 3 zoos within cycling distance of this place. Oh, you asked Reddit. I am curious to hear. Bill Deer Blinkendaal Helmond Philipstein. That is quite a mouthful, I will say. But there are some elements in there that are cool. The thing is, that's part of the challenge that I have as well with coming up with a name. Is that I want it to be catchy for the YouTube audience. So that's why I'm also like, even though it's a Dutch zoo, I'm doing like all of the signage in English. By the way, I didn't show that yet, but I also, before I made the platypus signs, I finished my sign template for the zoo. I have too many things. There you go. There we go. This is the sign template for the zoo. Let me get out of the sun. So I made a meerkat sign just as an example. But yeah, you got the meerkat with some information and then your like general info stuff. I'm really happy with this. Dierenrijk. It's a little derivative, don't you think? Alright, are we able to put water in this? That would be nice, but I don't think we would. Nope. Needs to be way bigger for that. Whoops, I'm flooding the aquarium. Our fake backstage will have to be flooded. I'll come up with some names if you give me info about the zoo. Alright, so one possibility. So the area that I chose over here, this is called the Keypark. So Keypark Zoo could be a decent name, because that sounds decent in English as well. Ooh, this water is a little high up. I think we can get away with this if we just lower it a little. You know, adults, just bend down a little bit. But yeah, so it's located in Eindhoven, and it's just, I don't know, it's that's something like, this is just my whatever I feel like zoo, which could be also a fun way to come up with a name. Something that means that. Another thing is that this is my streaming zoo, like pretty much This is my zoo I go to stream random shit. So that could be a fun inspiration for a name. I like how you started off asking me for help with your name, and now you're helping me instead. I appreciate that. All right. There we go. We've got a small tank for something Australia related. And by the way, absolutely stunning work, originals. Thank you. Yeah, I was really happy with that as well. All right. I don't wanna touch any of that. All right. Let's see. So now that we have that in place, what are we gonna do with the rest of this? So we need something over here that blocks light. So I'm gonna go ahead and add. Oops, I should have turned that off. Give me a moment. My bad. Yeah, we need something that blocks light to keep this a nocturnal house. So we're just gonna go ahead and add. Why do I have this the way I have it? That's just kind of strange, actually. Messing with Google Hangout, also like vrij. Yeah, so but that's the thing, Forge. I don't want a Dutch name. Because this is kind of like I already have a Dutch zoo. Keypark Eindhoven could work. But I want something that's a little more catchy in English, just because I want this to be the YouTube focused zoo, basically. Alright, so I think this will work. Alright. And we can use that later. Animalia. Could work. I'm not sure. I don't want to shoot down all of your ideas, by the way. I'm really looking for that one thing that makes me go, yes, this is it. But I haven't found it yet. So I might just settle for like Keypark Zoo. Is that a common thing? These are meant to be shut down. Oh. Is it common for, like, are there any zoos that are, like, inside of a park that are just called... I guess Roger William Park Zoo is a example of that, now that I think of it. So I could do something like that. I guess Keypark Zoo is one of the better options. Lincoln Park, yeah, right. Oh yeah, Central Park Zoo, of course. There's also zoos named after individuals, yeah, but there's no real I don't really have a backstory for this zoo. Because it's just the everything I want to do zoo. So I can't really make a clear backstory because this is the zoo where I'm like, I want to build a platypus habitat. Let's go. And of course I still want it to be as realistic as possible. But not as much in terms of that. Something like Small Costa Rica could work, but it's Key to the Wild that's kind of sick actually. Yeah, doing something with the key thing. That would be cool. Right, what kind of other smaller tanks could you find in an ocean thing? I think it's usually just big tanks. Like I can think of Platypus have like the shark place and they have like a barracuda tank. Stingrays. We're gonna have stingrays in the mangrove section though, so. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go into the reef area from here. Ooh, oh, that is actually cool. Yeah, yeah, a lobster and an octopus tank. What's up for smaller ocean tanks? I think people are doing adaptation tanks. Yeah. Yeah, no, we could totally do... Is there a cool lobster on the workshop? I bet there is. Lobster. Lobster cage, lobster trap. Aquatic pack. I should actually just look into everything that Drag does. Koi's. Sunfish. Yeah, I know he has a really cool octopus. Ooh, green sea turtle. I think those are too big for my tank, to be honest. Aquatic pack 2. Oh, jellyfish. Definitely want those. Because we literally just put down a jellyfish tank. Here is the giant Pacific octopus. Coral Reef Basic. Another aquatic pack. Alright, let's put those down. Where did I type roll? I wanted to type track. Alright. There's the octopus. I'm not sure, like I've never seen an octopus. These are hornbills. Wait, are these the same? They are. Why do I have the same one twice? That's weird. Alright, there is a lobster. That is a great lobster, honestly. Yeah, I definitely want a lobster. That is going in, and the rest not for now, I'd say. But I am taking that lobster. Let's see, was there something else? Wait, I downloaded the pirate ship? I don't remember downloading that. It's sick though. I had a jellyfish. Yeah, Drax's work is really, really good. It's a little, I do have to say, if I'm completely honest, it can be a little messy sometimes. Some of his stuff, which is why I don't always use them. But most of all, most of the time it's just so good. And these are really cool. Definitely those. I do think that we'll end up using some modded stuff for this aquarium. I know that Nick is working on some stuff that would work, make life a lot easier for us here. But yeah, I think I just want to have that. Let's see, how would this backstage work? Like, say we took out the water for a moment. Oh. I am gonna go in like 15-ish minutes, I think. Because it's getting a little late. And I got plans for tomorrow. Still need to pack some things before I go. Basically what I'm, like, I've packed most of my stuff. Except for my computer. Which, that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna unplug everything from my computer. So that when I get back from holiday I can just pick that up and take it with me. Let's see, do I want a lobster? No, that's not what I was doing. I was looking at backstage. So I think I want something like this. I always hop in near the end, but fair enough. Have a good time on your vacation? Yes, thank you. I will. And we're not done just yet. We're going to start wrapping things up slowly. Let's see. So from here, if you crouch down, you can kind of see into the backstage a little bit. This needs to be a little higher. But that's normal. Like, there's gonna be bright lights over there and then you can't really see into it anymore. Now the only problem is the enormous height difference between these two tanks. So actually this is not gonna be connected to that, I think. There is going to be a... Oh, I've deleted all my doors, I think. Crap. Now I need to grab a door again. There you go, these are the ones that I used. So yeah, there's gonna be a backstage door over here, which will get you into this and this. And then I guess inside of this room there's gonna be a staircase down. This is all like theory of the mind, basically. But that will get you down here. Then over here there will be the backstage access of the jellyfish tank, which will be like high up there. Let's make that nice and dark as well, like the rest. So yeah, we'll have that. And then we will... I think I'll do this for this tank. The lobster tank we'll put over here. But we will put the viewing... Oh, what if we make it curved? the most fancy lobster tank. But they deserve it, because they're cool. Does anyone know Leon the lobster? If you don't, look it up. It's awesome. That just got recommended to me randomly once. I absolutely loved everything about it. Wait a second. Okay, yeah, we can. I think I want to make it one bigger. Don't attach to things, please. Alright. I like that. It's just a little corner thing. And I will grab a piece of plaster. We will take this. Oh, what? I was gonna say, I thought those were bigger. I hate how the maximum curve of these things, like, you can't make a circle out of it, basically. I don't like that. I find that quite upsetting, if I'm honest. There we go. There'll be some rock and stuff around the corner. Let's see, what's the idea here? I think it needs to go like this far down. Just about. Yeah, not my idea. Jungle World isn't bad. It's simple, but it works. I mean, there is Almere Jungle, which is I haven't been. It's a very small zoo, I think. But yeah, this is indeed very nice fake sand, especially if you want to make like a Zen garden out of these circle pieces. But I think that was, I want to say that was Eben that did that for the first time. But yeah, if you do stuff like this, you can make like those traditional Zen garden kind of things, which is pretty cool. But it works over here as well. So we will put down a thing over here, just to kind of work out our imaginary backstage. Which I want to make a backstage for some of these areas, especially the big tank. I want to give a realistic backstage, but these smaller tanks, I don't think I'll be able to do it, especially because we're dealing with the platypus thing over here. Let's take plaster for now. Oh, I didn't realize we were actually behind the glass still. That's fine though. So yeah, we'll have some jellyfish, we'll have a lobster, and then it'll be like, that's it for the ocean. Could actually make the ocean tank a little bigger perhaps. Although we could also just, yeah, no, I'm gonna do that instead. will you ever go international for real life zoo tours? Funny thing you should ask. I just yesterday recorded the first international real life zoo tour. Gotta go. This is looking awesome. Thank you, Forge. Have a great day, evening. I don't know what time it is where you're from. I think it's evening for like most of the US as well, almost. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, not the next episode, but the one after that is going to be the first international one. Of course, not super international, but you know, Belgium is another country. So you can look forward to that in 3 weeks. Wait, 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, this Saturday there will be a different zoo tour, a small one with Leaf, and then 2 weeks from now there will be a little Beekse Bergen video, so a Planet Zoo one. And then after that there'll be another zoo tour. And that's all I have scheduled for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep up that weekly schedule after that, because I'm going to be moving house, applying for jobs, and yeah, life is going to be picking up steam after that. But been loving those zoo tours, by the way. I'm an American, so it's nice to see these zoos I'm not really used to. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy making them, because it's getting me to visit all of these zoos that I may otherwise also not have visited. And it's giving me tons of inspiration for all of stuff. I would love to visit some like big US zoos as well. At someday. But that probably won't be for a long time. Alright, so I'm gonna move this real quick because... Hello? I'm trying not to select the axolotl. I do want to put the axolotls in somewhere, but I still don't exactly know where. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it here for now, guys. We didn't do that much, but I did get some ideas out again, and I like showing you guys the in-betweens. Like, we don't do videos on this zoo at the moment, but these streams are just like, the first half of this stream is usually just here's everything I did and how I did it. Like, how we're gonna do that tunnel part and stuff. So, hope you guys got something out of this. No, I need some content. Go watch... I don't know. Sorry. I thought I'd had something to recommend, but I don't right now. No, I'm gonna watch some Glee, and then go to bed. So, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. I still need to make a button for this.